Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're beginning this lecture, so I request all of you, all the participants who have gathered outside, to kindly come inside. Thank you.
Oh
Ladies and gentlemen, I request all the participants who are gathered outside to kindly come inside the lecture room. We'll begin the lecture. May I request my colleague to kindly invite all the participants who are outside the lecture room. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kunga Chindan. I'm the program coordinator of Tibet House, New Delhi. And I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you, to all the participants who have gathered here for today's 36th annual PADMAPANI lecture series, which is co-organized by Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and the India International Center. I would like to welcome all of you for today's lecture. Before we move on, I would like to give you a brief introduction about the annual PADMAPANI lecture series. It is one of the most prestigious academic events organized by Tibet House, New Delhi, in collaboration with the India International Center, delivered by renowned scholars from around the world. This lecture series honors those who have made outstanding contributions to the various fields of Buddhist and Tibetan studies. The title PADMAPANI, an epithet of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, symbolizes the spirit of universal understanding, compassion, and harmony, values that seeks to promote through deep intellectual and cultural engagement. For today's lecture, we have invited our distinguished speaker, Dr. Buddha Rashmi ji, Director General of National Museum, New Delhi, and the Vice Chancellor of India Institute of Heritage, Noida, who will be speaking on the topic emphasizing on excavation at Sarnath, emphasizing on the topic excavation at Sarnath from the year 2013 to 14 with new evidences. It is my pleasure to present today's lecture highlighting the new archaeological evidence from the 2013 to 14 excavations at Sarnath. Today's lecture will take us through these remarkable findings and the implications for an understanding of Sarnath's early history and Buddhist heritage. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I request all of you to kindly join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Buddha Rashmi Maniji, our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Amarjiva Lochanji, our chairperson for today's lecture, and the Dean of Foreign Students, Director of the Center for Global Studies, and the Joint Dean for International Relations at the University of Delhi. And none other than Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, the Director of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request all of you to kindly welcome all of them once again with a huge round of applause. Thank you. Now, may I request our guest speaker, Dr. Buddha Rashmi Maniji, our chairperson, Professor Amarjiva Lochanji, and our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly come forward on stage. I would now request our guest speaker, Dr. B.R. Maniji, our chairperson, and our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly light the lamp of eternal wisdom, a symbol of illumination of knowledge, and to offer our prayers and offerings to the Enlightened One. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. Thank you very much. Now may I request our chairperson and our guest speaker and our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly sit on their respective seats. Thank you. Now, I would like to request our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, the director of Tibet House, the culture center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to kindly offer the white scarf, khadak, and this souvenir as a token of our sincere appreciation and gratitude to our guest speaker, Dr. B. R. Maniji. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Buddha Rashmi Maniji. Then we have our esteemed chairperson, Professor Amarjiva Lojanji. Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe Dojit Abdullah, and thank you, our guest speaker, and our esteemed chairperson. Now, moving on, I would like to briefly introduce you all about Tibet House and its activities before we begin this lecture. Tibet House, New Delhi was established in the year 1965 by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet for the purpose of preserving the cultural heritage at the time when it faced forceful challenges in Tibet, as well as for providing a center for Tibetan studies and culture and Buddhist studies. His Holiness the Dalai Lama's recurring emphasis on developing a sense of universal harmony and compassion as its own effective antidote to global suffering, together with the needs for a meaningful exchange between different religious and cultural tradition, had also a profound effect on the purpose and its activities of Tibet House. Tibet House aims to bring together Buddhist masters and Tibetologists, people across different disciplines, students and practitioners, and the common man through its various programs and events. Tibet House continues to expand its objective in saving Tibet's heritage and in exploring and working towards Tibet House's potential contribution to the ethical development of the modern society. Over a period of 5 decades since its inception, Tibet House has come to recognize as a significant institution for the dissemination of Tibetan culture and for Nalanda Buddhist studies. Tibet House is a 5-story facility which has a museum of valuable Tibetan art and artifacts, as well as a library with nearly 5,000 volumes of manuscripts and books, a resource center, a conference hall, a gallery, and a bookshop. A publication unit which publishes several books a year, and a program division which regularly organizes lectures, seminars, conferences, film screenings, and exhibitions. Tibet House offers various study programs on Nalanda Buddhist philosophy, conferences on interdisciplinary subjects such as neuroscience and Buddhist psychology, quantum physics, spiritual ecology, and universal ethics. Tibet House also offers 4 different courses on Buddhist philosophy and psychology, and a Tibetan language course. Firstly, the first batch of Nalanda Masters course, which was launched on 9 December 2016 on the occasion of 51st anniversary of Tibet House, New Delhi, in the gracious presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, along with Sri Kiran Rijiju Ji, the Union State Minister of Home Affairs, and Sri Najib Jung, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. The first batch of Nalanda Masters course, batch 1, was completed with 372 students from 44 different countries. Second batch of Nalanda Masters course on Nalanda Buddhist philosophy began on 2nd October 2022 with 900 students enrolled from 54 different countries. The tentative plan for the opening of registration for the Nalanda Masters course batch 3, NMC 3, is scheduled for the last quarter of 2027 as of now. This is the PowerPoint presentation slide where we have the online virtual classes for the Nalanda Buddhist philosophy. Secondly, the Nalanda Diploma course, which was launched in the year 2018, has emerged as one of the flagship offerings of Tibet House. It is designed as a 14-month program. It caters specifically to individuals who are deeply interested in Buddhist philosophy, but are also managing other professional and personal commitments. So far, 4 batches have been successfully completed, each fostering a growing global community of dedicated learners. We are pleased to share that the 5th batch of Nalanda Diploma course commenced on 2nd October 2024, witnessing an overwhelming response with 2,084 participants from 63 different countries worldwide, reflecting the course's growing relevance and international reach. Thirdly, Tibet House is pleased to announce the successful completion of the 2nd batch of the Nalanda Certificate course, NCC2, which had commenced on 7 January 2024, with a total registration of 1,168 participants from 62 different countries. Now, I would like to give you a brief introduction about the Nalanda Introductory Course, Batch 1, NIC 1, which was launched on the auspicious occasion of the Tibetan New Year, Losar, on 28th February 2025, with the blessings of Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdila, the Director of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, New Delhi. The Nalanda Introductory Course, Batch 1, offers a transformative journey into inner well-being with a theme on tackling loneliness, stress, and anxiety. In today's fast-paced world, this course is a timely offering designed to help navigate emotional challenges through the timeless wisdom of Nalanda. The teachings will be led by Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdila, and it will be delivered directly in English with simultaneous translation available in Russian, Hindi, French, Ladakhi, making it truly accessible to a global audience. And the registration has already opened on 28 April 2025, and the course will begin by 18 May 2025. So I would request all of you, those who are interested in this program, to kindly register for this Nalanda Introductory Course. Now I would like to give you a brief introduction about the audience and blessings of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. On 2nd June 2023, close to 500 students who have recently graduated from and currently studying in the Nalanda Master's course and the Nalanda Diploma course offered by Tibet House, New Delhi, received a gracious audience and blessings from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and an oral transmission of J. Rinpoche's In Praise of Dependent Arising. At present, there are more than 7,249 students from 98 countries enrolled in courses, out of which we have 3,140 Russian-speaking participants run by, under the leadership of Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdila. Tibet House also offers a Tibetan language course on a regular basis. There are 4 levels of learning offered at a very nominal fee, with scholarship for students and monastics. Till date, 28 batches has been successfully completed, with a total registration of 180 participants and 81 enrolled for this course. We are pleased to announce the recent opening of the 29th batch of Tibetan language course, which will soon commence on 2nd June 2025 till 30th September 2025. For the registration is on 15th May 2025 by 1 o'clock. Tibet House also offers Nalanda Dharma Studies twice a week for Tibetans and non-Tibetans alike who are native speakers or have learned the Tibetan language. At the request of this cohort residing in both India as well as abroad, the weekly public online classes by Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdila will continue to introduce them to the basic framework of Buddhist philosophy in a systematic way. The topics that are covered guided the students in a stepwise manner towards a greater understanding of Buddhism and provided a basis for further studies in Buddhist philosophy. We are delighted to share that the Pramanavartika Tsema Namdil textual studies has been successfully completed after 3 enriching years of online teaching. This marks a significant milestone in our commitment to preserving and sharing the Nalanda tradition's profound philosophical heritage. Currently, we continue to offer Introduction to Buddhism and Umajukpa, entering the middle way classes every Wednesday and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time in both physical and online mode. Teachings are delivered in Tibetan with simultaneous translation in Ladakhi. These ongoing sessions are a rare opportunity to engage deeply with authentic Buddhist philosophy under qualified guidance. Now, coming back to our main event today, Tibet House is absolutely delighted to welcome you all once again to our 36th annual PADMAPANI lecture series, which is on excavation at Sarnath from the year 2013 to 14 with new evidences. And I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to our guest speaker, Dr. B.R. Maniji, for taking out his valuable time and getting along with us today for this lecture. On this note, now I would like to request our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly address the gathering. And before that, I would like to give you a very short introduction about Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula. Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula is currently serving as the director of Tibet House, the culture center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, New Delhi. He has served as the interpreter and translator of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama within India and abroad. He is one of the chief editors and co-author of scientific, philosophical, Buddhist, and secular books with prominent professors in the United Kingdom and United States of America, as well as with His Holiness the Dalai Lama himself. These books are being used at centers and institutions all over the world to study more thoroughly on Buddhist philosophy, metaphysics, epistemology, and science. He has translated several important Buddhist philosophy texts and has contributed various papers for national and international conferences. Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula has a profound knowledge of science and interaction with world-renowned physicists, gave him the unique ability to teach Buddhist philosophy with a modern twist that many of his non-Tibetan students really appreciate. With this, without any further ado, now I request our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, to kindly address the gathering.
Hello. Thank you, thanks, Coach Indela. Today, it's, as you already know, this is the PADMAPANI lecture, series 36. And PADMAPANI, as most of you may be aware or may not be aware, PADMAPANI has a connotation of the Buddha of compassion, the one holding lotus in his hand, PADMAPANI holding lotus in his hand. And why this is the symbol that the Tibet House chose for this lecture series is that finally all what we learn in the modern education system, they're meant to bring about human flourishing, happiness, prosperity, and peace. On the contrary, look at the moment you open your eyes and look at the world news, we see wars happening, and small children deprived of their parents. Parents died, and the children left orphan. So this is what we see very unfortunate. And modern education is not designed for that purpose. The purpose is defeated. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama, whenever was being invited to give public addresses, his always talks about universal compassion, universal ethics for the world. And at the end of all these lectures, oftentimes during the public interaction, question answer session at the end, one question comes so often, that is, why Your Holiness, that the modern education, while it is meant to bring about harmony, peace, peace, prosperity, flourishing, and so forth to the humanity. On the contrary, we see the downturn of these values. Where are we going wrong? The modern education has already climbed to such height of development. Where are we going wrong? This is a question asked to His Holiness. His Holiness, without a second thought, would say that it's all because of one problem. Modern education is designed to bring about brain development. It's not meant for heart development. Whereas the human beings, we are a complete system. We are not purely a mechanical object. We are a complete system with a mechanical body part as well as the mental, emotional part. There are two things. And yet, the education system, to which we invest so much of time, energy, resources, of the governments, of the individuals, of the families, we see that is all dedicated to our flourishing of the brain, not the mind, not the heart. So, Padmapani, holding the lotus while it grows in the mud, but it's untainted by the mud. It means untainted. So likewise, His Holiness is encouraging the world that instead of creating divisions, we're the Buddhists, you're the non-Buddhists, we're the males, you're the females, and so forth. Instead of that, why not we come together? Education is to take us to a higher level of realization, where the 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 0.3 million years ago, which is 300,000 years ago, Homo sapiens, when came on the planet Earth, is extremely backward, so low level of thinking. And today we're supposed to be more civilized. But the real civilization should be proven, should be proved based on your mental development and the development of the heart, not just development of the brain. So, Padmapani, this is extremely significant in bringing this lecture series with this title, coined by my predecessor, the late Venerable Lama Dubun Tulku, who both our speaker, the lecturer today, and Professor Lojinji, our chairperson. Both of them are very familiar with this, my predecessor, and who actually coined this, the Padmapani lecture. So seeing the need for the promoting the human heart, the flourishing of the human heart in the world. So with this in mind, the talk by Dr. Buddha Rashmi Maniji, extremely acclaimed historian and also on the side archaeologist. So we are very fortunate to listen to him, to discover what the past India was, what the past India was, and on that basis, what is excavated is like the sites. But why these sites are very important? So new evidences, so which Dr. Manish is going to speak on, is to tell us that India in the past is very different. It's very different. It should be the role model for the whole world. It's about the human flourishing. It's about the flourishing of the compassion. So these are the places where the great thinkers like Aranagarjuna, Arasanga, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shantideva, they were produced in these learning centers. So this is not just to tell the world that we once had buildings, but this was to tell us that in these buildings, once they were brilliant thinkers, and whose thoughts, if we implement today, the world is going to be very different. We'll go in a different direction, where all these trillions and trillions of dollars otherwise dumped in warfare and missiles can be used for human flourishing. So this is what we're going to listen to Dr. Manishi today, and on that basis, be reminded of the past world, and more precisely, past India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe Dojit Abdullah, for your very profound thought and giving an opening speech on the very necessity of annual Padmapani lecture. Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe Dojit Abdullah. And with this, before that, I would like to request all of you to kindly switch off your phone so that we do not have any interruption in between. And with this, now I would like to request Professor Amarjiva Lochanji to kindly proceed with the session. And before that, I would like to give you a brief introduction about him. Professor Amarjiva Lochanji was born in Gaya, the sacred city of Buddha's enlightenment. Professor Amarjiva Lochanji is a distinguished scholar in Asian civilization and religion. He has earned his PhD from the University of Delhi on Indian Thai acculturation and currently serves as a professor in the Department of History at Delhi University. His expertise spans Indic elements in Southeast Asia, Hindu-Buddhist art, the syncretic nature of Southeast Asian religions, and the role of Brahmana priests in Thailand, a topic that earned him a Ford Foundation scholarship. He has authored 13 books and published 51 that earned him a foundation scholarship, contributing significantly to the academic understanding of religious and cultural flows across Asia. Professor Lochanji holds key administrative roles as Dean of Foreign Students, Director of Center for Global Studies, and the Joint Dean for International Relations at Delhi University. Notably, he is the first Asian to serve as Vice President of the International Association for the History of Religion, affiliated with CIPSH UNESCO. His extensive global academic engagement reflects his commitment to fostering intercultural and interfaith dialogue. With this, I would like to invite Professor Amarjiva Lochanji with a huge round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Most respected Honorable Geshe Damdullah, my best of the archaeologists in the working India at the moment, Professor Buddha Rashmi Maniji, and distinguished guests from every strata of life of Delhi. It is a great honor for me to be chairing the session of Dr. Buddha Rashmi Maniji. You know, speaking about Sarnath, I have seen him speaking about the origin of Sarnath. And today we are going to uncover a new part of understanding Sarnath history by his own direct involvement in excavations at the site. Sarnath, with so many ideas and philosophy, which is the beginning of the first lecture of Buddha, Mrigdava, Saranganath, and Sarnath. All these make every Buddhist scholar and having faith in Buddhism sparkle around the globe. And this is the place where you learn more about that. I'm sure that the lecture would be illuminating to all of you. As you see, everybody's name has a reflection in his career and life. That's why Maniji has all three elements in his name itself. Buddha, Rashmi. Rashmi is the word which goes around all Buddhist countries in Theravada tradition also, and is a hello of Buddha. And Mani, without Om Mani Padme Hum, we know that. So he has been a scholar of eminent nature in not only excavating and finding out, lucid presentation he has always. The Nalanda school, which has been reinvigorated by Geshe-la because he has been working tirelessly. I have seen how he has been working since last 20 years, traveling together, running together. I have found him a person with great affability and understanding. These courses which we have been just describing to all of you related to Nalanda, it is not only Nalanda revivalism but also much beyond than that. You know, Nalanda in 1950s became a place to start Mahavihara with Nava Mahavihara word, and that institute is still there. But the sparkle and Buddhist ideology of doctrine, philosophy, understanding Nalanda as a school has been only possible because of his effort in this city called Delhi. The Tibet House has been a doyen in the sense of that. And that's why we all give credit to him for this kind of regular lecture. You can see the name coming out from this is the 36th one. If you see the list of the scholars who have spoken on this platform, shows not only commitment but also a desire to see all of you getting enlightenment by learning about his understanding of Buddha. This has been also, as you know, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has blessed this place. That makes another great understanding, because we are not far away from the Dalai Lama's ordering place of the Tibet House. We are just 650 meters from here. You can still feel his aura and presence. When we offer the light for him, we know he is here with us. This regular happening of the lecture, PADMAPANI lecture series, will go historically in a great understanding of learning about various parts of Buddhism and various areas of Buddhism. And I'm sure they have done lots of publication. Tibet House must also include PADMAPANI series lecture in various forms of books by classifying on the subject given by them: philosophy, art and archaeology, history and epistemology also. These are very important elements which is covered by this series of PADMAPANI lecture, and this will be another milestone today for this kind of lecture which has been going on for the last so many years. Even during COVID, you had organized that one. That gets a great authenticity of the commitment to that. I'm also sure the Buddhist community of Tibetan people living in and around Delhi, NCR, they would be benefiting a lot by going through his video recording, which he always put on YouTube. And I'm sure, along with others who are living not here, outside Delhi, they will be benefiting from the lecture today of Dr. Buddha Rashmi. With these words, I am personally very grateful and feeling respectfully to you, to Higeshila, for inviting me. I deserve nothing, but I have been honored by you in such a way. I feel a little bit shy of that. Thank you so much for your kindness. At the outset, which I said to you, we are about to see the presence and presentation. I request our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Buddha Rashmi, to make a presentation. And while I am going to talk about him a little bit, before Maniji, have to wait for 2 minutes because I have to tell. He has a biodata of 25 pages, and I have made it into very small. It's very important because it helps us in knowing that. Dr. Buddha Rashmi has been Director General, National Museum and Vice Chancellor, as you know, has been renowned field archaeologist. You have to see that. Archaeologists are there many times. He is a field archaeologist, numismatist and art critic, who was earlier served as Additional Director General in the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. During his tenure as Archaeological Survey of India, as Additional Director General, I have seen so many Buddhist activities happen, and they have been recorded all around, not only India, but abroad in Cambodia, in Bagan, in Myanmar. This is information which I have seen by my own eyes. He has a fantastic academic career, first class, first, always. Always. This is some subject of great envy for all of us. Sometimes envy helps us in growing up. So I adore him for that reason. So in Varanasi Hindu University, he has done all these things, and he has got, Professor Altekar was a great scholar of early Indian history. Altekar Gold Award was given to him at BHU in 1980 on the work, his PhD in Life in the Kushana Age. As you know, Kushana is another transcending phase of Buddhism, which has a syncretism of non-Indian ideas of Buddhism, and here. He has been also teaching at Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies at Varanasi, Sarnath, 1978 till 1984. Then he comes to ASI as a deputy superintending archaeologist. Since then, he has been involved in conservation of monuments. Many of our monuments of Buddhist nature or other nature in India has been crumbling. He had run special project to see how the sites in Maharashtra, Goa, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, I have seen in one of the sites which has been possible to be saved by his direct involvement into that in Kashmir. This was because of him only. He has discovered a large number of archaeological sites in these places, besides also in Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. He has directed more than 19 excavation projects in the country, some of which are fabulously known as Lal Kot, Delhi, Salimgarh, also in Delhi, Muhammad Nagar and Harnol in Haryana, Siswania, Sankisa, Ayodhya, Lathia, and Kanispur and Ambaran. Kanispur, which was a big city in earlier time, now known as a Kanipur, a small village, all have been done because it was a place of Kushana. Recently, he went again to re-excavate the site of what we call Kapilavastu, Rajghat and Sarnath. And this 2 years project of 2013 to 2015 has been great subject for us. That's why we are going to benefit from him. He's also excavating, if you know about Harappa culture, which has grown up. Earlier, Harappa was only Mohenjo-daro and Harappa in Pakistan of today. But if you know the understanding of Harappa into Saraswati in Indian Valley, Indian country area, it has grown up mostly because of his direct involvement into that. So we have now 100 plus sites only in Pakistan. We have 400 plus sites in India of same civilization. And he has been a member of various national and international organizations. I remember his books coming from Europe, America, and Asian countries at international seminar. One day I was calling, he was waking up in Chile, in South America. I said, sir, kahan hai aap? I am in Chile. So he flies around the globe protecting Buddha Dharma by his writing and speeches. And I'm sure those his 6 books and 200 plus research works, which he have done, is really very important. A great institution in India at the moment is about Indian Archaeological Society in Kotaria Sarai, New Delhi. He's vice chairman of that institute, which has the most fantastic journal coming in the world, not only for India, Puratattva, which is internationally acclaimed Cuban journal, which is most important journal for any archaeology, anything covering to Indian subcontinent. Well, the things goes on well. At National Museum in 2 terms, he has revolutionized understanding of the past by his way of showcasing the art pieces. And I'm sure he has a contact with history of 6000 BC to coming century. With these words, I request you, sir, to present. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Lochin. I begin with salutations to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, with whose blessings I have been able to reach to the stage where I am respected Bishop Alhamdulillah, Professor Amarjeev Lochin, distinguished guests available in this hall. I am very much beholden to the Tibet House and also to the India International Center for asking me for this lecture. I am reminded when Alhamdulillah asked me to speak on my excavations at Sarnath because he knew that we got some new evidences in the excavations. So I am grateful to you, sir, for asking me to be here today and interacting with all of you. As you know, Indian archaeology had undergone many changes, and Sarnath is probably the only example of that which had witnessed the style of excavations, the developmental techniques of excavations right from 1815 onwards. In 1815, it was the era of pre-Cunningham period, we can say, because Alexander Cunningham came to the scene only in 1861 as the Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India. But before that, in 1815, Colonel Colin Mackenzie, he initiated some work at Sarnath. So that was the pre-Cunningham era. Then comes the actual excavation work, which continued in the time when Cunningham comes to the scene. Before becoming the Director General or Surveyor General of the Archaeological Survey of India, he did some excavations in 1834-35 also, and then later on from 1861 onwards. That was the initial stage of excavations, which was not focused on the scientific techniques, but he could expose certain important structures at Sarnath. Third comes the era of Sir John Marshall, when the scientific techniques were being introduced in archaeological excavations. And Sir John Marshall, along with his colleagues, worked there for many years. In Indian archaeology, the fourth era starts when Mortimer Wheeler comes to the scene. But that was in the 40s, 1940s. But after the Second World War, there was no excavation at Sarnath. Mortimer Wheeler had introduced the most scientific way of excavations, also understanding the chronological sequence of the site, the dating, etc., which was not done earlier. But unfortunately, nobody touched that, and it was only in 2013-14 that on certain objectives we undertook excavations at Sarnath. So with this background, I again take you back to the site of Sarnath, which is there in Varanasi, north of the city in Uttar Pradesh. Lord Buddha preached his first sermon at Sarnath, which was known as Rishipatan or Mrigdai in ancient days. The event is famous as Dharma Chakra Pravartan. First Buddhist Sangh was founded at Sarnath after Lord Buddha's first sermon to his 5 companions when he resided there in the Mulgandakuti and dispatched the first 60 monks in different directions to preach for the welfare of the humanity. And this is mentioned in the Dharma Chakra Pravartan Sutra. In Pali, the verse goes on, Charat Bhikkhave Charikam, बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय लोकानुकंपाय अत्थाय हिताय देव मनुष्यानम. He speaks not only of the devas but also of the human beings. The earliest mention of Sarnath is by Jonathan Duncan in Asiatic Researches, volume 5th, 1794. In his account of the discovery of 2 urns by Babu Jagat Singh, the Diwan of Kashi Naresh, as he has described him, who destroyed the Dharmrajic Stoop for obtaining stone and brick for construction of a marketplace on his name, that is Jagatganj in Varanasi. Now, very recently, this has been challenged and suggested that Jagat Singh was not a culprit, not a villain, but the British authorities mishandled the green casket which was found there, which is missing even today. In this hole which you can see, that is on the top of the Dharmrajic Stoop at Sarnath. This is a picture taken somewhere around 1900 or so, and Alexander Cunningham came to know that a casket was found there because he had read certain earlier works where it was related that the circular box, stone box, was there in which there was a green marble box, cylindrical green marble box, which contained relics, bone relics with some gold and gold ornaments, gold leaves, and some semi-precious and precious stones. But when it is true that Babu Jagat Singh had taken stones and bricks from this site of Sarnath for construction of new buildings, that is in the late 18th century. The date of his excavations or his diggings at Sarnath, that is also not given properly, and the recent researches suggest that it was not 1791 or so, it was 1787. And lots of material of that had been provided to me by Sri Pradeep Narayan Singh, who belongs to the family, royal family of Kashi, and directly in the line of Babu Jagat Singh. So there is some misnomer, some misunderstanding about the entire issue, and that particular marble casket in which the bone relics were there is still missing. It is related that Babu Jagat Singh found that, and seeing some bone relics, he put in river Ganges, considering that probably it belongs to some great personality. And it is said that he gave the green marble casket to Bada Sahib. Bada Sahib was Jonathan Duncan, who was Commissioner of Varanasi or Commissioner of Benares. And it is believed that Duncan had given it to the Asiatic Society, but the search which was made about 2 years back, and which the quest which is still continuing, had proved that there is no trace of that marble casket. So most probably Duncan might have taken it to England itself. Now the second one is Colonel Colin Mackenzie. He did some excavations in 1815. So now you can understand from 1815 to 2014, 200 years of history of archaeological excavations at this particular site. Alexander Cunningham took up excavations at Sarnath, at the 3 stupas and a monastery in December 1834, and closed it in January 1836 at a cost of rupees 517. The cost was shared by James Prinsep. You all know James Prinsep was the person who had deciphered Brahmi and Kharoshthi script, Captain Thorsby and Major Grant with him. Cunningham in his report mentions the excavations undertaken in 1851-52 by Major Kitto, which was completed by E. Thomas and Fitz Edward Hall after Kitto's departure. This Major Kitto was the same person who constructed the Queen's College in Varanasi. And it is said that there was a mistake committed by him in making the plinth of the building. The building looks like it is a building from Cambridge, but he did not raise the plinth, and the building was very gigantic, very beautiful, but during the rainy season, water entered inside the building. So he was so much disturbed that after returning back to London, he committed suicide. But he had excavated monastery number 8 at Sarnath, which is a hospital monastery. Then John Marshall, along with his colleagues, Hargreaves and D.R. Sahni, continued excavations in the first half of the 20th century in Sarnath. This is a picture of 1905 when excavations were in progress, and you can see the land capital when it was exposed and it was taken out, and so many other things like the famous preaching Buddha in the background and the Aśokan pillar in the foreground. They were all found in 1905 by F.O. Ortel, who was an officer appointed for this work by John Marshall. In 1914-15, H. Hargreaves excavated area around the main shrine and exposed the apsidal temple. Do you have a pointer? Anyway. point here. Okay, it's fine. He exposed the apsidal temple, which, if you go there today, you can find the semicircular structure. And it has been proved now that it belongs to the Mauryan age, and it was to the west of main shrine, below a large stupa exposed earlier by Marshall. There was a structure which was exposed by John Marshall, but that was in 1908. But in 1914-15, Hargreaves thought that this is perhaps some very important place, and he further excavated and found the remains of this semicircular stupa, which is, in Buddhist terms of architecture, Chaitya. And it is one of the earliest Chaityas, because our excavations have suggested that probably this Chaitya was created before the establishment of the pillar, inscribed pillar by Aśoka. And it is just straightway in front. If somebody wants to go and pay homage inside the stupa, he has to come by the way where in front of it, in front of the entrance, was placed the Ashokan pillar with inscriptions and the land capital. So we have a picture of 1914-15 and what it looks today. This is a Google map of the entire area of Sarnath, where you can easily see two of the stupas, the 108 feet high Dhamek Stup on the right side, and on the left side is the Dharmrajik Stup. Xuanzang mentions in his writing, Siyuki, that 30 Sangharamas existed in Varanasi with 3,000 priests. 1,500 priests studied the little vehicle according to the Samitiya school in Sarnath. And then he goes on describing some of the buildings which existed in the 7th century when he came to Sarnath. At least 8 monasteries have been located at the site. This background I am giving only because for the last 200 years, several seasons of excavations had taken place. So, one of the earliest and most imposing structures at Sarnath has been the Ashokan land capital, which is our national emblem today, and which was found in 1905 by excavator F.O. Ortel. It was a chance discovery made by me in 1982, when in the adjoining village called Baraipur, I found this image. This image belonging to Hariti, holding a child on his left lap, and there is a Brahmi inscription on the pedestal, which says Rajya Shri Gupta Swamina Pratisthapita. So, who was this Sri Gupta? Sri Gupta was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty. And nowhere his inscriptions or coins, etc., have been found. He is only mentioned in the inscriptions of later imperial Guptas. When they used to trace the genealogy of the Gupta emperors, there the first ruler is Sri Gupta. And Sri Gupta is mentioned in the Chinese records of I Ching as Cheli Kito. And that his record also says that he was the first ruler of the Gupta dynasty to have established a monastery at a place called Milikia Sikya Pono. Now this Milikia Sikya Pono can be identified with Mrigashikha 1, another name of Sarnath. Some 1st century BC, 1st century AD gold objects were found in 1990-91 adjoining the archaeological mound in the present-day Burmese monastery. They are all of very beautiful nature. And now we come to our part of excavations, which we carried out in 2013-14. And we carried out our excavations in 12 squares of 10 into 10 meters each, with quadrants, the squares divided into 4 quadrants, and in total 23 quadrants we excavated. The idea behind was to know what had happened after the first sermon by Lord Buddha and up till Emperor Aśoka's time, when he visited Sarnath. A series of scholars have always mentioned that there is nothing earlier than that, earlier than Aśoka. And it was only Emperor Aśoka who started some constructions, who erected the pillar with inscription, his own edict, over which is the land capital. So everything starts with Aśoka. But it was in my mind that it cannot be true, because for 300 years in between the Mahaparinirvana of Lord Buddha and coming of Aśoka at this site, there must have been some important activity, human activity. Maybe some monastery was there, some constructions were there. If not the Pakka constructions of brick or stone, maybe mud constructions. But let us find out if we can find something of that sort. So we excavated in 4 areas marked with red color: A, B, C, lower one, and D. In area A, where the apsidal Chaitya, which I had shown you, was located, we wanted to know, because at certain level, when the structures of that stupa was found, then nothing was done below that. So we thought that probably that may be the area which may give some clue to the earlier activities. Similarly, we selected area B on the top, where there is a circular stoop. So when the circular stoop was found belonging to about Shunga period or 2nd century BC, they stopped there. They didn't continue further. And C is the Dharmarajic stoop, the stoop in which the relics of Buddha, they were enshrined. And just side by side of the stupa, we excavated, and then inside the main shrine, that is the area D, there also we wanted to know that the shrine belongs to post-Gupta period and continued in the Pal period, but whether there was something earlier or not. So with all these objectives to find out the 300 years of history between Lord Buddha and Emperor Aśoka, we did our work there. So it was a problem-oriented work. It was not just a digging or excavations, but scientific excavations to find out the truth. Now, these are some views. You can see our trenches next to the semicircular structure, which is a Chaitya. And in this, we moved up till about 2 meters depth. We found we knew that the Archaeological Survey of India in 100 years after 1914 and till 2014, they have repaired this several times. So we wanted to find out the original bricks and the foundation, and further below up till natural soil. So we did excavations there. We did in the northern side, where we found a dump of significant but damaged Gupta sculptures of about late 4th or early 5th century. And then our results suggested that this foundation of the apsidal temple or Chaitya had a strong base of brick beds, which you can see, and below which is the natural soil. On the right side, there are layers suggesting the construction period, the period before construction of this Chaitya, and the period after construction of this period. And to everyone's surprise, we got the carbon samples collected from the site. We sent them to Florida to Beta Inc. Limited, and we got the dates of early 4th century BCE. Exactly speaking, it's 385 BC. And from the dump, we got the date of, it is around 400 BC, plus minus some 40 years. But this 385 BCE date is important. It suggests that 100 years before coming of, more than 100 years before coming of Ashok, the activities were continuing. And what was continuing in that level from where the samples were sent, we have found certain particular type of pottery which is known as northern black polished ware, and some objects which were of daily use but not very significant, because it was just one quadrant, even half of the quadrant where this was located. So you can imagine it was about 2 meters by 2 meters area. So if it could be further extended, probably we may be able to know more about that and more early dates could come. Then this was the circular stup, and after completing it, the excavations in 1908, it was stopped only at this level, but inside the stup, in the circle, we further excavated and found the remains of early Mauryan bricks. So a structure which was constructed during the Mauryan times, it was further enlarged or repaired during the Shunga times. So originally in the 3rd century BC, and then later on in the 2nd century or 1st century BCE. So our idea was also to provide a section, because we wanted to confirm the stratigraphy of the site. And on the top you can see the brick structure, by the side of which you have so many layers going deep, and this dump which you can see here, this dump was also existing somewhere in the middle, and earlier are Kushan structures, then Shunga levels and Mauryan levels. And there are important northern black polished ware, the pottery, deluxe pottery which was utilized, that is also available from the lowest levels. So now we can easily say the cultural sequence of the site. Nowhere in the earlier excavations for 200 years, no section was drawn, no cultural sequence was given. It was only in our excavations that we gave the cultural sequence period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Period 1 has got 2 phases. The first phase is pre-Mauryan, because 385 BC means it is before the Mauryans. And phase 2 is Mauryan. And both of them, they are having the northern black polished ware, the deluxe pottery available. Then Shunga period, Kushan period, Gupta period, post-Gupta period, and at the top we have the early medieval or Rajput period. And we know very well that around 1194-95 the site was attacked and large-scale destruction took place. So we, further the Turk armies went towards Nalanda and demolished all the monasteries there, burned the library. So on the way was Sarnath. So now this we have very importance of the study of structures in archaeology, and for the first time this section drawing is there, which gives the entire cultural sequence. Now another important aspect, I told you that in the area C we had the couple of trenches excavated adjoining the Dharmrajic Stoop. Because we know that Dharmrajic Stoop is always, since it is known as Dharmrajic Stoop, it was known in the 10th century also as Dharmrajic. That means it was constructed by Dharmaraj. And Dharmaraj was none other than Aśoka. So there also we thought that probably we may get some early evidence. And up to the third step, it was excavated in 1908, and then it was left. Nobody tried to find out what is this monolithic staircase and where it leads. So we decided on all the four sides of the stoop, these are there. So we decided to excavate it, and on the top of the monolithic staircase there was an inscription which gives the name of Aśoka. And Aśoka, Rajya Aśoka, he was a king, a local king, or the same king who was ruling in Vats region in Allahabad, in Kaushambi. So Aśoka's name on inscription that is found on the top of this, which is recorded by the excavators earlier. But now when we started excavating it further, we got this brick structure of Chandrashila below that. And this seems to be Chandrashila and the staircase made during the 1st century BC AD, overlapping. So we found the remains of a railing pillar also. From there, the Suchi, which connects two pillars, that was also found there. And the most interesting thing is this inscription, which was found on the left side of the staircase, but it is too much damaged. Only we could make out 4 letters which is Varsh-shat. Varsh-shat means 100th year. So it gives the date of 100th year. 100th year of Shak era, that means 178 AD, which was the common era used during that time. So when Aśoka came here, he got inscribed 2 inscriptions, one giving 178 AD, and the first one, which was earlier found on the top of the staircase, gives his name, Aśoka. So it is earlier than Aśoka because the writing is cursive and it is written haphazardly. It is not a royal inscription, or inscription which was used at the time of construction of the staircase, but inscribed later on. Ashok is the same person who also got inscribed his name on the Ashokan pillar. There also a short inscription is there which mentions Raja Ashok Ghosh. Then we have a large number of broken sculptures, and some of them you can see they are painted with red color. And this is an image of preaching Buddha with the 5 disciples seated below, painted with red. And painting of red color was used in the big sculptures also. The first one with the umbrella, it is inside the museum. It's a huge figure of Bodhisattva or Buddha which has traveled from Mathura to Sarnath. And then it was very difficult probably at that time that always the sculptures should be brought from Mathura because they were already being made there. So the later Kushans, they thought that they will prepare sculptures of same type, but they painted them. There are traces of red paint on the second and third sculptures which are in buff sandstone. And then the drapery etc. differs from the first one, and clearly they show that they were made by the Kushan period and with smaller parasol over it. In the third one you can see it is still there. The first one, it got damaged because it was a huge one. So they decided to have smaller one, and the same thing continued in the Gupta period. So this is how the continuity of coloring the images and making different experiments with the sculptures were going on in the Sarnath school of art, belonging to the time of Kushans and the Guptas. Here also you can see this pillar has got the traces of red paint. This is the trench which we had inside the main shrine, and we found that it goes up to the natural soil, but everything belongs to the time of Gupta period only, and nothing prior to Gupta period was found. There are other staircases where some letters were found, and we had no time to go further to expose the entire things. There are parts of black slipped ware, grey ware, and also northern black polished ware. And particularly if you see this right side dish, you have a figure in the center which is crescent on hill symbol, which was it is believed that it was a Rajang of the Mauryans, and on 2 of the Ashokan pillars also this has been found, and this is available on many of the Panchmart coins. Then there are a number of saddle and quern and decorated objects in stone as well as in terracotta belonging to early Mauryan period. Then we have this important part of a polished sandstone which has got 3 letters. On the first line, the letter Ta is there in Ashokan Brahmi characters. And in the second line, there are 2 letters Va, Ha. So it is probably connected with some Sarthva who came over there and probably he donated something. So, but during the Mauryan period itself. So that is why we have this polished sandstone block over which the inscription again suggesting the writing of the Mauryan times. And there are Mauryan. Sometimes I would just like to mention that there were many other constructions also belonging to the time of Ashoka or the Mauryans. If you see the archaeological museum, you have so many figures of birds as well as some figures connecting with some animal figures and some inscriptions over them. So they are not part of the big pillar, but in somewhere was located another edifice of the same period. Maybe that broken part with the part legend Vaha may suggest that there was some other edifice to which all these belong. So I was mentioning Sarthva. There is one stone in which you can see it is written Ujjainiya. Ujjaini means the person coming from Ujjaini. Ujjaini is Ujjain. There are some other parts of the capital which definitely do not belong to the Mauryan Ashokan capital, but some other edifice. Some more figures, some decorative brickwork belonging to Gupta period, and in the dump which I had shown you in the picture, we had so many sculptures, broken sculptures, and perhaps they were not intentionally broken. They were broken when they were being made. So in the sculptural workshop itself, they were broken. Like this. This. And they are all of the same period, late 4th or early 5th century, and in the same style where the wet drapery is seen on the body of the Buddha, and that became popular later on in even in the countries of Southeast Asia. This is the first one, shows the descent of Buddha from terrestrial heaven when he went there to tell about the dharma to his deceased mother, and then he returned to the earth along with Indra and Brahma. and this was our team who had worked very meticulously, finding all details. Thank you.
What a journey which we had seen. I may also recall here that who had joined us today to hearing Professor Buddha Rashmi Mani. Some of the slides which you have seen are the first time being shown in a gathering like this. So this is unique. I have a round of applause for that facility to us. I could see as a teacher of University of Delhi that there are 25 to 30 PhD topics provided by you, sir. This is a great opportunity for many of us. I can see some of my students from University of Delhi promising careers, they will make it out of that. Now, as we are running almost on time, a little bit of minutes are there. Still, I have some chances to ask for Q&A. We can take a couple of questions, and I will request Maniji to be there for some more minutes. I know it's great standing, but you can come here and sit here. Thank you. Is there anyone who have a question? So kindly let me know your name, so that helps us a great way, please.
I'm Joya Roy. I work sometimes at Tibet House, and I study there too. I wanted to know from Dr. Mani that the lion capital, with the 4 lions in the 4 directions, actually held the Dharma Chakra. And that was dropped from our national symbol. But the 4 lions then represent the Chakravarti in the 4 directions. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So in Sarnath Museum, the chakra is separate, right?
The chakra on the top of the 4 lines, that had probably fallen earlier.
Broken.
And after that it was broken. And the pieces were found along with the land capital, and then they were restored, and they are also shown in the museum.
And that is from Chunar sandstone?
Chunar sandstone, polished one.
There was a lecture here in this, in one of these things by the research division, IIC, where somebody, a lady scholar, she said actually these Chunars were taken up the hill in Chunar, dropped into the Ganga, and then sent upstream. So did the Chunar sandstone come by the river?
It's possible. I think you are referring to the lecture of Professor Vidula Jaiswal.
Yes, the
And
pillars.
it is,
About the pillars being,
she had discovered that site in Chunar, where, but at that site there is no very long pillar or part of the stone. Mostly they are about 4, 5, 6 feet in length.
So she said they were in sections.
But it was a monolithic pillar.
Oh, it was.
And then all the sculptures which were created, they might have come through the river route from Ganga to Varuna, and then from Varuna there is a nala which connects Sarnath, that is known as Aktha Nala. So through that it could have come.
Thank you. Is there any other question? Yes, please.
My name is M.B. Chandal. Dr. Mani, you told that you have limited time for this excavation which you did. How many days you did this excavations? And
About 2 months.
And there are many technological advances taking place in the way you do these excavations. So you faced any challenges while doing this work, or you said you were given this 2 months time, still some
No, we excavated for 2 months, and the most important challenge was that we had to study the entire earlier reports. That in which year, which particular area was excavated there, so that we may not excavate without getting any results. So we located all those areas on graph paper, and then we decided that where we can have our trenches, and then accordingly we work.
Given another chance, what other area you will be picking there? Any other possibility?
Yes, there are possibilities, and you can have more areas and more evidences.
Thank you. Could you introduce yourself?
Good evening, sir. My name is Chikmay. So basically, I visited Nalinda Museum last year, and I had an interaction with one of the worker there, and he had to say on this that only 10 to 20% has been excavated till now. So what do you have to say on this, sir? Because is there any sort of challenges that archaeologists are facing, or is the government not giving the permission, or what are the other reasons for this, sir? Thank you.
Nalanda was excavated from about 1915 to 1935 for 20 years. And that is how we find Nalanda today. It was all under debris. But the thing is that many parts of the original Nalanda monastery, they have been occupied by the present day two villages, Badgaon, and then there is another village on the northern side. And still, if you dig somewhere, you find bricks and sculptures in those villages. And sculptures are still there, Bodhisattva sculptures or other sculptures, they are still there in those villages. And the local people pray considering maybe sculpture of Marichi with some Hindu deity like that, but they are there. So the other point is that when the monasteries were excavated, suppose one monastery was found, the excavation was stopped in those days. But below those monasteries are earlier structures also that we have tried somewhere to locate, and they are there. So maybe in future, if some such project is made, then we can have earlier structures also, because I was the person who prepared the nomination dossier of Nalanda, which was sent to the UNESCO in 2014, and then in 2016 Nalanda was included, and we had to fight a lot with the World Heritage Committee. So we gave many evidences that it was a monastery in the beginning, Mahavihar, and how it developed into a university. And all the components of a present day modern university, they are found in Nalanda.
Sir, please.
Yeah, Professor Mani.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is Dr. Sarjit Dudeja. You just started with 1835 with Kalingam until today, 2013 to 14, such a long time, about 200 years. Why not this excavation is being done in a single go, so that everything is clear instead of in parts And now we have a technology of laser type also, so it can be done with new tech also. So
So
why
it is a new addition. It was not there in the time of Alexander Cunningham or John Marshall or others who were excavating. So they had their own ideas of excavations, and then for 3-4 seasons they excavated and then they left.
why they live, or why we live in between? Why not to complete?
No, it's also not a policy to fully excavate a site. It should be left for future generation when the science and technology advances. So it's a policy that any site should not be fully excavated. So that is how it was never excavated. Otherwise, in Sarnath you could have never got the evidence of 385 BC.
But about new technology being used also now?
It is because of this only this date has come, using the new technology of dating, the AMS dating, the C14 dating.
Any other question? You have done already one time. Can I have a new hand? Any new hand, please? So if there is no new hand, so I end with you. You have started with that. But only one question, please, because it's running late. Make into one. You telling about you? You? Yeah. Okay. Then madam, just wait. He will do that.
Not to query, just asking you, the northern black polish ware, that was of a degenerate kind. I think it was not very good quality. I suppose it was a late.
Earlier the time bracket of northern black polished ware was from 600 to 300 BC. But the best quality of northern black polished ware is before 600 BC.
Yes.
And now it goes back to 1100, 1200 BC.
Yeah.
So even if it is the time of 4th century or 5th century BC, it started degenerating.
Yes.
And then around 200 BC it disappears.
Yes. That is how I got it from the pictures. It was, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The last of the day.
Recently, we heard a lecture here by a Tamil scholar, an archaeologist, who had done satellite imagery and discovered many structures in Bodh Gaya, which are not known to people now, or it's not part of Bodh Gaya's planning in spite of it being a World Heritage Site. So she even showed how the rivers have changed their courses, because that was very evident, and the direct connection between monuments on one side of the river and the actual Bodh Gaya temple. So I was wondering if the institutions that you're involved with now plan to do this kind of satellite imagery. They used some American satellites. The second question was, who were these Kushans and what were they before they came here and suddenly became patrons of Buddhism?
So I start with the second question.
Okay.
The Kushans had come to India sometimes from Kabul. They entered into the mainland India somewhere in the 1st century BCE. And these Kushans, they were parts of Yuchi tribes, which had 5 different clans. And Kushans were of one clan who overpowered other clans. And then they established their rule in west, in Gandhar region, defeating the Indo-Greeks, defeating the Parthians, and pushing the Scythians or Shakas towards India. And then following the Scythians, they also entered into India. and they had their capital at Purishpur or Peshawar. And the second capital was Mathura. And then what was your first question?
The satellite imagery has been done on Bodh Gaya site.
Satellite imagery is, nowadays it is very common. It is being used. Even the advances have taken place in aerial photography. So these things are being used by the archaeologists to locate the sites, and even the flow of rivers, the paleo channels, the location of the sites and mounds, they are all being traced with the satellite images.
I want to add something on your observation.
Yeah.
You see, everybody say, why not there, why not here, why not Bodh Gaya? You see, this also has some involvement of the finances and the sequences which have 200, 300 years only. When you see the Roman case, in the Roman civilization, they have dumped more than $100 billion till the date for excavations. If we go by Indian size, we need 1,000 billion minimum. And 1,000 billion means quite a lot of money, apart from the rule of having excavation to limited sites. So these imageries, now what you are getting earlier, if you remember, it was very heavily priced for one picture only, when we are getting from USA satellite. When the Indian satellite came, the price went down. And now we are the cheapest person in the world to provide satellite imagery. Europeans are getting from us. See, these are the sequences and financial requirements plus zeal and plus jobs plus. We need an army of 5,000 workers for working in this direction and a lot of finances. With these words, I come to conclusion of the day. It has been fabulous by all means. Let us have a big round of applause for Maniji. And I request Mr. Tenjin Kumkavla to have the vote of thanks. He is the Secretary of Tibet House.
Good evening, everyone. So, on behalf of Tibet House, New Delhi, and Venerable Geshe Alhamdulillah, I would like to pay my deep regards and appreciation to Dr. Maniji for graciously accepting this invitation and for a wonderful presentation, and also our chairperson, none other than Professor Amarjyoti Lochanji, for chairing this today's lecture. I hope our audience have gathered new information from this lecture, and I hope to see you all in our future conferences and lectures. Tibet House hosts lectures and conferences from time to time, and actually in June we have a conference on 7th June, conference on ecology coming up, and the registration will open soon. The details you can find on our website, www.tibethouse.in, and you can also follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel. And as in the beginning, my colleague Kungala have mentioned that we have started with the registration for the Nalanda introductory course, the NIC course, which is a 7-week course. And if you're interested, you can register for the same. And we have also opened the registration for the 29th batch, Tibetan language course. So the last date is 15th of May. So if you are interested, you can register. The details can be found on our website. With this, we have come to the end of today's lecture, and I thank you all once again for your participation in this lecture. Thank you all.
May I request our guest speaker, our chairperson, and Venerable Geshe Alhamdulillah to kindly remain on stage for a quick photo.